right, have you been struggling to lose weight? Well, whether it's 5 or 50 pounds, you might find the answer of why you're not shedding that weight in your own mind. It's part of the theory for behavioral weight loss expert and author Renee Stevens. She has written Fulfilled, the 6-week plan for changing your relationship with food and your life from the inside out. And Renee joins us today. Welcome to the show.
It's great to be here, Grace.
And we wanted to start off with talking about your philosophy because, you know, as women, and I think even as men too, you do so many different diets. There's always a new fad diet, no carb, Atkins, and you think those don't work. You don't talk about food necessarily in your book.
Exactly. The truth is that diets make us fat. And it's scary truth because we want them to work, but they actually make the problem worse.
Why do they make you fat?
They make you fat because they're based on restriction and control, which obviously produces an equal and opposite reaction, which is overeating when it's done. They're too much hard work and they're not sustainable for the long term.
But shouldn't you be reducing the amount that you eat if you want to weigh less? Isn't that just kind of common sense?
Yes, you have to eat less in order to weigh less, but the real game is the mental game. In order to lose weight in a lasting way, you have to change the way you think about food. That's why there's no diet plan in the entire book. How many of us don't already know that broccoli is generally a better choice than a Big Mac?
Yes, but Big Macs are so much more satisfying. That's the problem, right?
Well, so it appears that they're satisfying, but how long are they really satisfying for? If people could make one simple change, their entire weight struggle could disappear. And that would be shifting from thinking about how the Big Mac makes you feel in the moment of eating it to how it makes you feel over time. So how do you feel after an hour after eating a Big Mac, fries and a shake?
Probably feel kind of sick and you probably feel guilty. Exactly.
Just watch Martin Spurlock in that movie, right? It's not pretty.
You said that you have struggled with your own weight. How did that start? And tell me a little bit about that, of your own background.
I started when I was 12 years old. I was slim and I still went on a diet which made me fat. And because I was fat, I went on another diet which made me fatter. And that process continued for many years. I ended up eating from the trash can, being a binge eater, eating cake for breakfast, food that wasn't defrosted, the whole thing. And the harder I tried to restrict myself, the worse it became.
So ultimately, you said that you had spent years struggling with this.
Yes.
And then how did you come to this idea that you had to change the way you look at food altogether and about yourself?
Yeah, it took me a long time actually to figure that out. And that's why in the book I've condensed it to a 6-week program where you can really get in and change the way that you think and feel about food so that it becomes easy. This book, this program works for lasting weight loss that's easy and natural.
Why does it work?
It works because you're really changing the way that you think about food and about exercise. So, for example, instead of thinking about the Big Mac the moment that it's a party in your mouth, you're thinking about how it's going to feel over 2 or 3 hours, which is ugh. And automatically, again, using the techniques in this book that really unearth and clear the causes of your overeating, right? It can become easy for you.
There's a woman you mentioned in the book. She goes to a buffet. She overeats and she feels really bad about it after.
Yeah.
Now, walk me through this. She said that she could have eaten like 7 apple pies because she said she loves apple pie. How did you change her mentality?
Yeah, exactly. She was pretty funny. I asked her, well, what's a trigger for you for overeating? And she said, breathing. That's where she was when she started. And when she was done, she was happy to eat a single slice of apple pie. She had a take it or leave it attitude, and she was getting more enjoyment from that one slice because she addressed the causes. I had another client, she was 140 pounds overweight. She was over 50, had both knees replaced, and had never been slim. After she did the program that's in this book, she lost 140 pounds and she's kept it off for 5 years now. Now she loves to hike the hills of San Francisco. She's founded a nonprofit to promote artisanal foods, local artisanal foods. So she's enjoying her food more and actually living a more fulfilling life.
Well, it's very intriguing. I was reading your book, and I think that I'm going to have to delve into this a little bit more. So I want to say thank you to Renee Stevens for coming in to talk about her book, Fulfilled. And if you'd like to purchase a copy of her book, it is called Fulfilled, as we mentioned, the 6-week plan for changing your relationship with food and your life from the inside out. Just check your local bookstores. All right, that does it for us this week on Base Sunday. Frank will be back next week.